Alright, hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So today is about time we learn how to read. Yes, I'm gonna teach E and community how to read skill names. Okay, because recently, if you notice in the gacha banners, for example on Mario's, you can see this magnifying glass, right? And then when you tap the magnifying glass, there are 3 sets of skills here. Okay, so in case if you're wondering like, is this card worth it? Should I pull for this card? Then hopefully reading these symbols would be enough for you to decide. Okay, so let's go for the first skill. First skill is called your active skill, which is basically every time when you do a debate, okay, you have to tap the card before something happens, right? And then if in case, for example, it's a buff card or a debuff card, you can see it at the lower left of your screen or at upper right at your enemy's side. Okay, so in your active skill, there are 2 types, okay, offense and defense. Okay, if it's lips, it means related to influence or your offense, and your shield means defense. Okay, then you also have the colors as well. So if you've been following my Hoyo Lab and you've been reading my post about the card reviews and everything, so I will always mention rainbow buff, right? So if it's color white or if it's rainbow here at the lips, it means it's affecting all types of stats, right? Mostly your influence. And then if you see red, blue, and green, it means mostly focus on its own type. So empathy, logic, and intuition, right? And then you also have the arrows as well. Notice that there's the arrows at the upper left, which would mean increase or decrease, okay? And then if there's no arrows, it means it's a preemptive strike card, which aka your main DPS, quote unquote DPS card, okay? Now let's try combining what it means, okay? So for example, this one, what does it mean? It would mean increased logic influence by something, okay? Next, let's also try another example. So this one would mean decrease empathy defense of your opponent by blah, okay? And then of course one of our favorite skills is this one, which would mean a rainbow buff. Means it increases all types of influence by blah, okay? So let's go to the next one. Second and third skill are actually passive skills. What does it mean? It means that you don't need to do anything, so such that it will increase something, okay? So unlike the first one where you need to tap the card before a buff happens, second and third skill is passive, so it's based on the setup of your deck, okay? So again, there's also you can see there's different symbols, right? So it would mean for every blah, okay? So for every look card, for every logic card, and special case of this one means itself, okay? And then notice that there is a symbol at the lower right, okay? That will also mean something, which is influence or defense, okay? 2 types again. So let's try to combine it again. So what does this symbol would mean? For every look card, it increases influence, okay? And then let's also try another example. So this would mean for every logic card, it increases some defense, okay? This is a special case. So since it's lips, it means it's increasing an influence, okay? So this would mean increases its own influence by something, okay? Now let's go to the third skill. Third skill is also a passive skill, but it's more towards your entire deck, okay? So what does that mean? Notice that the symbol is circular, while the second skill is rectangular or square-ish, okay? So again, there's also this small symbol at the lower right, which would mean increases what? Okay, increases defense or increases influence, okay? And then the symbol will also mean the same as the second skill, which is either the guys, something related to the guys card, or something related to all types of elements card, okay? Let's try combining again. So this one would mean increases all look cards influence by blah, okay? And then if it's this one, it would also mean increases all logic cards defense by blah, okay? There are also special cases, which is a very rare skill, which is these 2 symbols, okay? So normally you would see this in our cards in the especially when you're starting out, okay? You would see this stat a lot in our cards, and only appears in our cards, okay? So this would mean that you will have to put the R cards in the support deck so that the skill would work. Okay, so if the card is in the support deck, then it increases by influence or defense, right? So going back to the card, let's assume you pull the card, okay, and then you see this one, but you're too lazy to read because you have to top level up and then you have to go back. Okay, so notice that there are also symbols here aside from these ones, right? Mainly this one and this one. Okay, the Greek letter and the Roman numerals. So what do they mean actually? So for the Greek letters, it actually means 1 turn, 2 turn, or 3 turn. Okay, so for example, in this card, okay, you can see increase intuition by beta. Okay, beta means 2 turns, so it would mean increase intuition by 2 turns. Right, and then when you use this in the debate, you can see also here there's 2, which means 2 turns. Okay, so something like that. Okay, now you can also see in all of the skills there's also Roman numerals, which would mean its own tier list. So 1, 2, and 3. 3 being the highest, which is your SSR and SSS. 2 is your SR and MR, and 1 is the R card. Okay, so for example, in this one, it would be increases for every intuition card in the deck, increases defense by blah, and this is most likely an SSR card or an SSS. Okay, and then of bonus that there are 2 types of buffs. I would normally name it as flat number and percentage. So if you want to get your quote-unquote cards worth, I would prefer a card that increases by percentage. Although flat number is nice, especially when you're starting out, because in the beginning flat number will always be nice until your deck is quite strong. Then that's the time percentage comes better. Okay, so let's go back to this one again. What do these skills mean? Okay, I'll give you around 10 seconds to think about it. Okay, if your answer is more or less like this, okay, even without getting the turns or the percentage right, then congratulations, you know how to read the skill names, and thank you for watching this video. So yeah, hopefully this video helps you in how to decide for your card whether it's worth it or not, and yeah, a little tip and trick on how to read the skills. So yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.